Mickey, how important is it to understand our past lives in order to go forward? Tom, for some, it is of great importance, for others it is not that important, for it is as if they had the internal knowing and they step in another direction. But for some, knowing their historical background then gives an insight into the personality of this life. Guest, why do humans forget their previous lives when they incarnate on Earth? If they remembered, it would be much easier for them to see the light to improve themselves. Tom, in the beginning there was remembrance, then it became necessary to structure society for the progression of what you would call civilized behavior. In those societies that have not entrapped themselves in intellectualism without sensitivity, their peoples have awareness of other realms of existence. These societies are largely dismissed by those in the arenas of the world in which there are the main technological, scientific and intellectual advances, and when children of these civilized societies were born with memory, which was often, it was not considered acceptable and therefore it was suppressed. Now, however, 1991, there are many in your world, in those civilized societies, that have come with remembrance. We ask of you and all upon earth, permit your youth to remember their past, to understand that there is continuity of life, that there is not death of the spirit or soul, that what passes into a form is only that of the physical, and that all soul, all spirit, all that each of you are, contained within thyself, all the essence of the Creator contained within you, continues in continuity. The time has now come to this planet when there is more and more remembrance. In the past, some religions had not benefited humankind, for they also suppressed that internal knowledge of other worlds. It served its purpose for a period of time, but now it is time to let the true essence of humankind come to the fore. Yes. Guest, is it true that every soul in the universe needs to live on Earth at least once? Tom, what is of great importance for humankind to know, is that in all the universe, Earth is the only planet of free will and choice. This does not mean that other worlds of existence, on other planets of physicalness, there is always a control. What it means is that on other planes of existence one may choose a physical expression in a collective consciousness and agreement. All souls in the universe must experience this planet Earth at least once in order to learn of this balance between the physical and non-physical, what you would term the spiritual. Planet Earth is for that purpose, therefore the importance of bringing yourself into balance on Earth is vital. When souls are born into this planet and begin to experience such things as the ingestion of your foods, those of your liquids that control the mind or those drugs that also affect them, then humankind forgets the essence of who it is and begins to believe that it is the only reality. That is because, in the past, humankind was attempting to elevate and come to an understanding of itself, and then it entrapped itself and recycled over and over again, instead of going to other places of existence for further experiences. This became your reality, but it is not the true reality. However, because souls recognize that this planet is of paradise, in their confusion they entrap themselves. Not that planet Earth entrapped them, they entrap themselves, and this recycling bottlenecked the universe. A soul chooses where it will be. When they do not go beyond the earthboundness of this planet, they choose to recycle here. That does not mean that if a soul has made an error in the past or in another civilization, that they may not choose to come here, for often they do. However, know that there are others in the universe that also tempt and attempt to control souls and create a corruptive state. Then, that soul, when it is in its state of purity, can identify that problem and chooses to visit planet Earth or another planet in order to overcome that corruption. Yes. Now follows a discussion on birth and death. Guest, may I ask about transitioning into and out of physical life? One thing that concerns a lot of conscious people at present is the quality of birth and the birth experience, for souls transitioning into the body. Do you have any advice for people who wish to give a good birth transition to children coming into the world now? Tom, you know that in past days there was not this great difficulty that exists now. In days past, what was created in sound waves was not discordant. People did not have mechanical sound patterns and waves, did not have electronic fields of energy, and birth was accepted as natural. What happens in these times is that people who want to give life to a developing spirit in a peaceful way unintentionally create confusion for a child, for they speak to it in gentleness and lovingness, and then they proceed outside, where there is a very noisy environment. Therefore this newborn spirit is not even knowing what kind of world it has come into. Therefore that must be explained. For can you imagine yourself in a warm cave and then suddenly you feel the vibration of a volcanic explosion? You would not know if you could survive this warm cave, would you? Then you receive assurance from the mother, and then that assurance is taken away, so it causes great confusion. What needs to be arranged is this: if one who is in gestation could be in a calm environment for this birthing soul, with soft music, lighting, educational input, you know that you may read an encyclopedia to one that is waiting for birthing. As that is assimilated, also is this noise assimilated, discordantly. So when you are in that swing from calm to disruptive, would you not be Jared also? You see, if one spirit chooses to come back and it really should not, and it is forcefully returning, and then is creating more discordancy, and the nutrients feeding to it are discordant also, then can you see why it then discordances the planet? Now if that one came back willfully and had opportunity to have serenity, it then has a chance to perform in its human role in the method that it should. Guest, there are a number of people who now understand this, but it has yet to develop in a larger way throughout the world. Tom, what must be done is the creating of arenas of safety that a female enters for that time. Guest, around the time of birth, or during the whole of pregnancy. Tom, through gestation, from half through. Alex, I believe that this is one of the few planets where we are able to sexually reproduce in the physical being. How would the experience of having a family, or the experience of a family unit, aid us in our spiritual evolution on this planet? Tom, you are correct in that it is the only planet, not one of few, where that of the sexuality for reproduction is the method that is in sexuality, and in that, you see, humankind searches continuously. This we have explained before. Therefore we will attempt to answer the second part of the question. It is bringing forth, and it is not always a necessity for humans to have a family. That is the first premise that must be understood. When a soul chooses to come forth to benefit planet Earth, then it is important that it chooses those elements necessary for its development into its divinity potential. In times past there were souls that forced conditions into humans in order for their reproduction to come into being, for they willfully wished for the elements of either or both humans.